Well, hello everyone, Seth Campbell here. Welcome back to Segway Plays Legend of Zelda the Wind Waker. In the last episode, we began venturing into the Forbidden Woods to find Makar, the lost Korok. And we are now in the depths of the Forbidden Woods. One thing I wanted to talk about that I think is really cool about this dungeon is depending on whether you enter it in the day or night, certain rooms look different. Obviously, you can see the sky, so certain rooms where it's kind of an open sky, like the room right before this, which you can see at the end of the last video, have more sunlight if it's during the day or are darker during the night, and then the ones that are more deep in the forest where you can't really see out look the same. So I think that's really cool. These things, as I mentioned briefly before, are this game's incarnation of pea-hats. They're a little less annoying than in other versions of Legend of Zelda, though they're still very annoying. One of the best ways to defeat them is to knock them down with a blast of air from the Deku Leaf. And it is... Oh no, I know what I should have been doing. Never mind, we're going to see something in a minute that I should have been doing from the get-go. Now, if you look at the color of those Boko buds, or Baba buds, you'll notice they're a little bit darker than usual, which means they have Boko Baba plants in them. You can also stun them with the Deku Leaf. You can do that to a fair number of enemies. There's a bunch of rupees there, but I have max rupees, so I don't want to waste those. And this one turns into a Baba Bud. It's a more efficient way of climbing trees, I'll say that much. So, we have another one of these things where it's an eye that closes, or the flower, whatever it is. But at any rate, we can't do anything with it, because the vines just regrow. But there's another one of these cable car things here, which we can use these propellers to bring to us. And if I could aim a little better and get that one, and bring us across to the other side where we have a Boko nut, or Deku nut, or whatever this thing is supposed to be called. So, we can bring this over to the others. Oh, no. Well, you don't want to throw it. The good news is it respawns in case the player happens to be me. So you want to bring it onto the cable car, drop it down, and then be careful not to use your Deku Leaf in a way that's going to blow it, because I believe you can knock it off. Hit the propeller, go back to the other side. And if you stand far enough away and throw this thing, you can defeat the Plant Guardian. I still don't know why the grappling hook doesn't work on those things. Logistically, or logically, it really should, but... Okay, so... there's another one of those door-blocking plants, and another Boko nut. But it's surrounded by these evil, living, sentient tentacle plant things. If only there was a way to get it out of there. Like that. As you can see, the Deku Leaf has many different uses. Now, this is the central room of the Forbidden Woods. Going to be coming back here a lot. So, first thing we see is that grapple branch up there. Jump over. Now, these... I still don't really understand what's going on here. They're sort of tree, branch, limb things, and they keep moving. So basically, you just wait for them. And now that we're on the other side, there's a door that requires a small key, but of course we do not have a small key. more rupees in there, but I don't want to get those at the moment. I really should find a way to use my rupees so that when I'm going through these dungeons and finding all these rupees, I can actually have a use for them. But now, there's another one of those plants over there. And there's a boko nut over here. Whoa, that was too close for comfort. And then there's these things. I believe they're called Moths. And they don't hurt you, but they grab onto you and they slow you down. They don't prevent you from using items. I was just testing that there. But they do slow you down. So the best way to deal with them is to get as many of them on you as you can. And then spin attack. It's very satisfying. And it will destroy them all. This is why I usually like to get as many of them on at a time as I can so that I don't have to do this several times through. Let's see. Small chest. Yellow rupee. 10 redundant rupees. Now, this is the obligatory spike maze. Just about every Legend of Zelda game will have one of these in some fashion or other. Sometimes it'll be spikes coming up from the floor. Sometimes it'll be fire. You know, it could be anything, but it's a common concept in Zelda games and in a lot of other adventure games of these types. I totally forgot that you could just blow the leaves away. You don't have to set them on fire. That would have saved me a little time before. But anyway, the basic strategy here is don't try to go too far too fast. You know, because you don't know when these things are going to pop up in front of you. So take it slowly. Wait to see if anything's going to pop up. Now, as you saw, these wooden boards are a little sturdier, so a simple sword cut isn't going to do it. But a bomb will. Let's see what this chest has for us. It is the compass, so now we find where the treasure chests are on our map. And as you can see, there is one right near us. And it is over there. And the bomb flower is over here. So we have to throw it over there, but that can be a little tricky with these tentacle things. There we go. Now we just have to find our way over there. She'll lead you through a maze of stone and heartache. Plants and heartache in this case, I guess. No, it can be a little hard to stop your momentum. Like I said, this is why you want to be patient, and I'm not terribly patient, and I should be, because this is backfiring horribly. Okay, come on. There we go. And let's see what this is. Small key. There we go. Use it to open locked doors. Well, we've seen a locked door. And fortunately, we get a shortcut back. So we don't have to do that again. There are these pots here. I'm hoping maybe, just maybe, one of them will have a fairy, ending my long quest to actually capture one of these little things. But I don't remember. Oh, a joy pendant. That's good. So, now that we have the small key, let's go back to the central room. These things do respawn, which is annoying. And as we go back, as we saw in Dragon Roost Cavern as well, a lot of times when you have to backtrack, there will be enemies that appear that weren't there before. Clever little touch, keeps it from getting too monotonous. Obviously, there are other paths in this room, which we will explore, but at the present moment, I'm going to follow the obvious path. Okay, that one's, yeah, it's gonna fall down into the water. The water may look a little suspect, but it does not hurt you. I was hoping there was a place to stand down here, but there isn't. It's just a ladder. No, 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 no. Climb back up the ladder. Come on, come on. Okay, here's what I should have been doing from the get-go. You know how I told you you can use the grappling hook on certain enemies to get the kind of items they carry? Well, one thing that the P-hats give us that I was also hoping to get from the cargo oaks earlier is a golden feather. You got a golden feather, keep it in your spoils bag. A certain strangeness emanates from the quill of this beautifully shining golden feather. Winged girls are said to be infatuated with these treasures. Yes, you may remember one of the Rito guards in the Rito village had promised his girlfriend that he was going to give her a bunch of these and didn't have any, so it's our task to collect them. You can really only get one item per enemy. It's kind of hard to defeat that guy because he keeps falling down into the water. So for the moment, we're just going to ignore him. Or we're going to try to ignore him. Go away. More Boko Babas and a Mothula, which spawns Moths. Now you can get a bit. Well, you didn't get to see it there because I defeated that one too quickly, but next time we see one, I'll show you. There's one of those press A at the right time moments. You can easily defeat these guys. Okay. One of these guys is stuck on me. You may hear the sound, the helicopter sound that the P-hat makes. Which means there are a few of those around here. Die. Now this is an interesting conundrum because there is not one but two of those strange vine plants, and we don't have any immediately apparent projectiles that we can use. So, in classic Zelda fashion, we remember it and we come back later. These things are just annoying me at this point. So, there's an open door here. And that's never a good sign. And it is our mini-boss. It is a flying Mothula. Now, I'm not a big fan of bugs at all. One of my favorite things about this particular Zelda game is that there are no spiders. However, even I have to admit, the wings on this thing are just beautiful. I'm waiting for it to give me that cue, and it's not doing it. Anyway. Oh, there it was, and I missed it. Obviously, avoid... come on. Avoid when it snatches or dives at you. You can slash at it to break its wings. Make sure if it launches morts at you to get rid of them as quickly as possible because they will slow you down and make it very hard to get out of the way. Ah! I'm not quick enough. You have to be really quick for that, I guess, for this particular battle. This guy's just mopping the floor with me. There we go. Okay, so you get those little special attacks if you time it right. And then once you take its wings down, it's just a regular Mothula. The Moths are really what make this really annoying. There we go. Oh, I had forgotten we could get a golden feather from that guy. Well, it has wings, I guess it makes sense. And a chest has opened, and it's one of those chests that looks important, so let's see what this is. You got the boomerang! Set it to and throw it with Y, Z, or X. Target specific objects by holding the button you set it to and aiming at something until the red targeting cursor changes to a sunburst thing. You can target up to 5 objects at once. So, now not only do we have a projectile that is constantly with us, but we can use it to target multiple objects. Not entirely sure this is how boomerangs in real life would work. I don't think you can quite structure their trajectory this well, but as you see there were 2 crystal switches. Have to hit both of them to open the door, and that's what we did. And now, wasn't there something else that we had to hit 2 of? Oh, for heaven's sake, go away! I guess the good is that when these things respawn, you can get another item out of them. But go away. Might as well talk about this where that, as I finish up this battle, that the way I'm saying go away is one of those things that popped into my consciousness the other day and I hadn't thought of in, I don't know how many years, probably over a decade. There's a show on when I was a kid called Between the Lions. I don't know if any of you watching remember that, but it was kind of like Sesame Street. It was, you know, centered around learning to read. It had all these sort of recurring skits. And there was this particular character, I think it was a pelican, Dr. Nitwhite, who his duck assistant always accidentally called Dr. Nitwit. And there was an episode where he said that he discovered the only 2 words in the English language that were the same backwards and forwards were mom and pop. I say, as obviously we could try flying across here, but these spiky things would get in the way, so we use a boomerang to cut 5 of them down at a time. Anyway, but as he says this, his duck assistant looks at him and says, "Wow!" And the word "wow" appears on screen, showing that it's the same backwards and forwards. And Dr. Nitwhite says, "What did you say?" And the duck again says, "Wow!" And Dr. Nitwhite just looks at him and says, "Go away." I've never forgotten that, but I guess I mean, I kind of did, I guess, because I hadn't thought of it in so long. And I am going to fall back down. Yes, so this is why this room has water in the base of it instead of a bottomless pit, because they knew you'd probably be falling from up above, especially if you're foolish enough to try to do it without cutting down the vines. I don't think you can get a golden feather from the Mothulas that don't fly. I mean, I guess I can test that. Oh, ow. I've been eaten. Help. Yeah, that's not pleasant. Alrighty. Let's try this again. Why do these things respawn? That's weird. Yeah, I'm definitely sure you can't get a real boomerang to do this. Okay. Height of the jump. There we go. It's not a very forgiving height differential there. Got another joy pendant. Awesome. Now we are back in the central room. And first thing I want to do, actually, I could have done this earlier, and I could have done this better now, is to come over here. That was the room we went into to get the key. You can climb on these branches and jump at the right time. And this is something I missed as a kid. The second warp cauldron. I actually missed this one. So, I guess I thought there were only 2 in this dungeon, and we'll be finding the 3rd eventually. But, now, there's this giant, heavy-looking, flowering plant in the middle of the room, and it has 5 vines attaching it to the ceiling. Well, we know something that can cut 5 things. Let's hope that was a good idea. Because now, we are down in the basement. We have crashed through on a giant flower. Let's see, is there anything over here? No. Well, I guess I can use the heart. And the magic. Not the rupees. But we now definitely have a new way to go. Oh wait, grappling hook, grappling hook, grappling hook. Get the feather. And actually, you can use the boomerang. First time we'll cut the thing's feathers off. And then the second time we'll kill it. You can also use a boomerang to multi-target these guys from a distance. I really love this dungeon music. It's you almost don't notice it. You know, it's very, you know, it's kind of like the outset forest in the beginning of the game. It's very just sort of back in the mix, sparse. Now there's these creepy things, these vines that try to grab hold of you. Choo-choos arguing about who is going bald. Let's see, here is another flower, and much like the other one, it has vines holding it to the ceiling, but you can jump across it to get this chest first, which I recommend doing because I believe once you cut this down, you can no longer get that. And we have an Octorok firing at us. Oh, no, come on, shield. You have to have your sword out to use the shield. Bang! Now we've seen this before. Sturdy boards require a bomb. Let's see what we've got here. I think this is the room. I'm not actually positive on this. I haven't looked up all of these in a while because I don't presently have a way to record them. But you know how I mentioned in Dragon Roost Cavern that there was a spot where the Tingle Tuner comes in handy? I'm pretty sure this innocuous-looking little island over here is this dungeon's equivalent of that. Okay, so the grappling hook will kill those things if you've already taken their wings off, I guess. Or propellers, or... I'm not entirely sure on P-Hat physiology. If anyone out there is more well-versed than I am, feel free to correct me. You can also use a boomerang. Basically, anything that has a long neck or stem or something like that is a prime candidate to be boomeranged. Now this is interesting. There's a chest that has one of those vine plants on it behind this here gate. You know, I think it's this island here because it has its whole own like way to get to it and seemingly nothing on it. I think this is the Tingle Tuner spot. I will verify that. Now, we can crawl in through this little crawl space here, but by the time we get anywhere close to the plant, it has already sealed up. So, what are we going to do? Now, we've seen that our boomerang can take those things out, but... Oops. We can't get it through the bars, and if we stand up, by the time we get in there, it's already closed. Come on, come on. Okay. Oh, no, I guess that doesn't work. They have to actually come out of the buds before you can attack them. Now, this is where things get interesting. Because there is a hole there. And unfortunately, we can't get close enough with the boomerang to angle down there. At least yeah, we can't look down with the boomerang, which is weird. Oh, no, that's the grappling hook. No wonder. So yeah, we can look down with the boomerang, but we can't get an angle in there. However, there is a bomb. And if we time it just right... Kaboom! We got another treasure chart. We've heard this already. I wish it would just say you got a treasure chart, but I guess if it had been a while since you played and you forgot what they do, it's good to have all that information there. So now we crawl out the back because the gate still doesn't open. That was weird. Essentially climbed air there. Oh, I can just jump to there. Perfect. Oh, this flower thing does respawn up there. Okay, so I guess if you miss the chest, we'd have to take a roundabout route to get back up there, but you still could get it. Anyway, we have done quite a lot. Bang. And ventured further into the Forbidden Woods. So I think this is a good place to pause, and we will resume in the next episode.